Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Eruption. Today I have a very interesting personality. I have Samuel Obeghe here. He's the founder and president and CEO of the Eco, and we'll get to know more about the Echo because see, you have to listen properly. If not, you won't get, if you miss it from the beginning, the latter point you will not get it. So better listen from the start. So yeah, Samuel, we just begin with introduction, right? Who are you? Where are you from? Which schools did you attend? Or are you presently attending?
Thank you, Musa. And yes, you're right. If you don't listen to this from the beginning, you might miss the mindset that I might be trying to describe here. And before I go further, I must just say something that innovation starts in Africa. Let's just put that out there for the beginning of this conversation.
Like
Just
trailer.
innovation starts in Africa. If you didn't know it now. The innovation starts with you. You are the innovation. Without you, the world does not receive change or bring change at all. And we'll talk about that as we go on in this conversation. My name is Samuel Obeghe, aka Eco Evangelist, also called Sam Talks because I've done radio shows, and now I'm also Sam Talks Tech for Africa. Um, I was born in Nigeria, in Kaduna, precisely. I lived in Kaduna for 11 years and
Can
lived in yes, so Kaduna 11 years.
you speak Hausa?
A little bit though. I can understand if they're talking, though, so they should not try me.
No, Allah. That's no.
Just they're just the same way I understand Yoruba as well. So yeah, I lived in Kaduna for 11 years, Lagos for 3 years, and then left Nigeria at the age of 15. Lived in the USA for 6 years, and then in the United Kingdom for 9 years. I went to Jextoban Secondary School, also went to Command Secondary School, Kaduna. I went to university in Arizona, and then I went to university in the UK. I first went to Plymouth University, and then I moved to University of Salford eventually. Degrees that I've studied, and right now I've also just completed the School of Politics, Policy, and Governance. Yes, I shouldn't forget. Big up to SPPG. So yeah, degrees I've studied. I did mechanical engineering as a first degree. Did not complete my studies in that. We should not talk about that. And studied economics and business, and then digital business and entrepreneurship. Also did a side masters on social business and ethical capital. And right now, I've just finished a study on political science, which we've both been in that class, political science and policy.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, Apart from that, I train myself personally on other things like data design, digitalization, coding Python, learning how to design with Figma and Canva. And yeah, that's me on a nutshell. It's a lot. Your head.
Not sure it's not nothing though, like it's big. Okay, so let's start with just the fact that you literally just stated you have lived in three continents, right?
That's right.
Three continents, three educational systems too, at the same time, and also different kinds of degrees, right? So I mean, mechanical engineering, then business, now political science. It's like you have wrapped yourself around trying to understand the world by force in locations and also like in what you studied. Before we go to like your company, right? I just want to talk on like how maybe that has formed you as a person, right? Just the exposure, I would say at least. And then how so location wise, but also like in terms of like what you study, like how has it formed the part of you, and what do you think like it has contributed the most, and do you regret it?
No, I'll first say that I do not regret it.
Okay.
I love the exposure to all of it. In location wise, I think that one of the things that I enjoyed the most was the freedom to be able to learn, do, and create in being in all these countries. Some of them I learned bad things, some of them I learned good things, but then there was being able to find the balance being a Nigerian person. I want to put that out there that as a Nigerian, you are taught morality from when you're growing up. So you won't misbehave. No matter if they say however a child goes on, you still come back home. There's that proverbs in Nigeria. So no matter how the Western world or wherever tries to spoil you, you still balance. So I think that in location,
So wait, is this a license for people? Like, is this
no, it's
license?
not a license, so don't go and do any please. Well, do,
If I
no,
will balance at the end, make I.
no, don't go and do like that. Though. You might not have the grace and capacity that I have. Like you said, it's been about trying to study the world. And I'll say a short story here. When I was younger in Nigeria, I wanted to buy ice cream on the streets. Every day we finish school, there used to be those guys with bicycle and the box, and they used to sell ice cream from that box. You know the box
Yeah.
ice cream. And my friends would always buy ice cream, and I always wanted to buy ice cream too. But my mom would say, "You cannot buy ice cream from those people because I give you food flasks to go to school every day." And I used to think to myself that, wait, oh, this sun is hot. I'm going to trek home. Don't you think that the balanced thing for you to do is to be able to give me ice cream than just that food that you gave me? I know the food is good, but also there was also these extra benefits that comes with my social value that ice cream will help cool me down after a hot day in class, flogging and everything. But I guess
Soft
didn't see.
boy. Somewhere the soft boy.
I'm just saying that that was a thing that I now discovered that the Western world designed for their people. Again, that's what I'm saying. That freedom to be able to see that changed my mindset, helped me to see that there's other ways of being responsible and accountable than just saying, I gave you food to school. But then there was other ways of being responsible that, okay, apart from food, does this guy need to also be cool headed in other things like that? And so um, that part is, I just thought I put that out there that it has shaped me as a person away from just going to those locations and exploring all those things, but actually connecting it to the fact of being in Nigerian and what does that look as me being a Nigerian in the global settings of the world? What does it look like? So I've been able to learn, I've been able to do, I've been able to create. So that freedom came by being able to travel across these places. But again, has created a new type of mindset in me that I'm trying to give back to the African people now. That there's a mindset, there's a way of thinking that's different from just I'm Nigerian and this is how we do in Nigeria to I'm Nigerian and there's a reason I'm in Nigerian in this global setting at this moment. So yeah, it has shaped me to become a new human being. I must confess. Three continents, America and most people. If I'm in America, people ask me, "Oh, because you grew up in England, what is it like growing up in England and coming back to America?" And then when I go to England, English people ask me, "Oh, what does it look like growing up in America and coming to England?" And I'm like, "Are you both competing with yourself?" And then when I come to Africa, Africa will be like, "Ah, awesome! You grew up in America, UK, or more. You're a sharp." And I'm like, what is going on here? But again,
Yeah.
I can understand why they're thinking that way because again, because of all these geopolitical and economic zones and how things work.
Interesting. So I think the next question it comes in handy, right? Which is basically like what do you feel like being in Nigeria in the 21st century? What does that mean to you? The fact that you're alive. I don't know. Life could have chosen that you were born in 5th century Nigeria, right? Whatever that was at that point.
Mm.
But you're in the 21st century somehow. So what is that to you? What's the meaning that gives to you?
I'm sure if you hear the background of our conversation now, you can hear some sort of carpentry noise. Yeah, that is what Nigeria is to me in the 21st century. I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
Noise, Abi. Hey, hey. Don't shake table.
If you're if you're in the Western world, everything is you'll be hearing birds. You'll be hearing birds when you wake up. When you're in Nigeria,
Cinderella go dey pass.
if you're in Nigeria, you hear lion. You can hear lion protect.
Hey, maybe Mama Tolu is eating
They're
lion
pounding
baby.
pounded yam in the morning. And so this little guy is shouting, "Mommy, stop!"
Be coming down. Oh my god.
That's
Sorry,
what
those are
Nigeria.
like your
That's what
answer.
being in the 21st century. That's what being in Nigeria is like in the 21st century. But being
Okay.
Nigerian, I think I love being Nigerian in the 21st century. I love it. It's the coolest thing. We have the largest amount of people, professionals, especially in America. You can see this has been stated. We have Nigerians changing the world in different aspects of innovations and technology and new things. You can see Flutterwave, Jumia already making wave in the stock exchange. It's a great time to be Nigerian. I love being Nigerian at this time. Uh, I personally believe that as a Nigerian, we are actually in this space where our culture is superseding us as people. Like we just don't know how to harness the fact that we are all over the world, but we are still also in Nigeria and also so we're plenty. So our culture is superseding us ourselves. It's superseding us ourselves. We're like, it's more than us. Like, we're like, hey, I'm Nigerian. That Nigerian guy is this. It's over. It's beyond us. Some of us cannot even comprehend that. Is it Nigerian that did that? It's a lie. Some people, if you tell a market right now that some guy in Nigeria is making $1 billion in the valuation of his company, she's going to be like, really? In Nigeria, they should be asking, is it this Nigeria?
Yeah.
So our culture is superseding us. And Nigeria itself is a place that finds itself um, by the ocean, where um, good things happen, good things can come to it, but then over time has influenced many people to become bad. So we have good things coming, but many bad people that do not allow that. I'm talking about in Nigeria now, not Nigerian. As in Nigeria, now our culture is superseding us, but Nigeria as a place is by the ocean. And when you're by the ocean, you get good things coming to you. Like the Scandinavians, we have good things coming to us, but we just have bad people that are leading how those good
Some
things get
of
to people.
them just hold you for a bit. So what? Because the nine. Let's not get into the chicken and egg kind of conversation, but the Nigerian makes the culture to which it exports, right? And if the thing is that the bad people are limiting the Nigerians from growing, right? There isn't it supposed to correlate that then it's bad culture we're pushing out, because the Nigerian is not, treating Nigeria right at the end of the day. So when you say
Yeah.
culture, what exactly do you mean? And then like what is the difference between that and the Nigerian bad people, if you like?
So when I say Nigerian culture supersedes them now, you cannot find a Nigerian that has not experienced a lot of culture. You can find, like we just talked about me now. I've lived in three continents. As a Nigerian, my culture is hybrid. It's mixture of all of it, but I'm still Nigerian. You still hear me speaking the Nigerian slang, like how far? All those I'm still Nigerian with different culture. It supersedes me because when I speak to another Nigerian that has not experienced what I've experienced, but he still knows I'm Nigerian, he relates with me that I'm Nigerian, but he knows that I'm even better than him. But then there's a fear of, is he better than me to ruin me, or is he better than me to help me? Which is where I now say there's the good things that come, like I've gone abroad, learned so many good things. When I bring it back, becomes what kind of way do I bring it back through the ocean?
Okay.
Good things, but then bad people. So I can become a bad person too and use that in a very bad way, manipulate people, do it in the wrong way, and then the culture will never balance out. Even though we know that, like I said, our culture is superseding us. but it's because our culture is so diversified and is so influenced. Another interesting fact is that Nigeria is the third country with the largest amount of languages. That
Mm-hmm.
just makes you know that there's so much diversity in the culture of Nigeria that allows us to, it supersedes us. We
So
cannot
what
hide,
language is that you?
we cannot contain it. We cannot
Yeah.
contain it. It's just over us. So in the
But those
21st century,
languages, like I just feel like in the next two generations, some languages will go extinct.
no,
Like
it will definitely go extinct.
will go
But it's
extinct.
just interesting that in the 21st century, we can still be described as a country with that amount of language. That means the
Yeah.
culture is too much for us to handle. We don't even know. And again, until we start to um, see ourselves as that grand God or angel or something, we would not be able to harness the culture that we are as Nigerians. So in the 21st century as a Nigerian, I personally would say I don't want to follow rules and regulation. They are outdated. I want to believe that I was made for this time to transform it.
Or more. Okay. Like I don't know, the Nigerian means that head that I don't want to follow rules and regulation. You're like, eh? Because like Nigeria, I can just imagine a Nigerian parent or something listening, like, this
Boy,
boy,
yes, I
ah,
must follow
come on,
rules. I'm telling you, there you go. There you go.
but definitely, like when it comes to innovation, I understand what you're saying, and when it comes to what you have built or what you're building, right? Like it makes total sense, which now leads us to the echo. So, okay, when I said that you guys should listen properly when we're talking about the echo, it starts from now. Because understanding it now will help you at the conclusion when the conversation ends. But yeah, Samuel, WAEC 100 marks. What is the echo?
100 marks.
Question one, no other question. What is the echo?
um, the echo is environment, community, and organization of any place, people, product, or services.
So can you say
Is
that again so that your voice will be loud?
louder.
Louder. Uh-huh.
Echo. The echo is the environment,
Uh-huh.
community, and organization of any place, product, people, and services.
Okay.
Um, let me just make it into some sort of content. Caption: Echo is a lifestyle. It's a mindset. It's the new economy. It's a technology. All of these things can be broken down into why is it a lifestyle? Why must you live your life as that? I live in a particular place. I eat from the environment, or I breathe from the environment. I live with a particular community of people, and I interact with organizations to make sure that those people and the environment where I'm eating from or breathing from is balanced. Collecting the data of it creates a new mindset. If I have the data of it, I would know how to align my mindset to either be more emotional, more cultural, more intelligent, or I would use it to design the way that I value myself or where I am. So if I contribute to the environment of that place through my skill, I contribute to the community of that place, I contribute to the organization of that place, I'll be able to value my own economy and value the economy of that place where I'm living in. But then also, if I collect that data, I can be able to digitalize it. And when I digitalize it, I'll be able to design the right technology that I can put on media for what that works for. Again, thinking about the internet is the new future. So Echo, honestly, is a lifestyle, is a technology, it is a mindset, it is the new economy. That's what I'll say what the Echo is. I guess we'll go deeper as we go into this.
Yeah. Okay. So let me try and reiterate.
Your face. You're like, what is this?
No, like we had this conversation, so like I think that helped us. Like the first conversation we had, like has helped me kind of get it. If it was the first, I was like the but like let's try and break it down. Especially that's what I said for people that are listening. So it's a lifestyle, right? The same way you have quote unquote a Nigerian, right? There is the Eco, for example, as an analogy, right? And in the Eco, in analogy with the Nigerian, right? When you are living the Eco life, right? What you do is that in your day to day, right, you kind of look for ways, to function within society, right? As you are, but in such a way that you are mindful of the environment as well as mindful of the community you're in, right? And as you do that, right, you are gathering data day by day, more or less. You're collecting as much information as you can. For example, you went to location X with somebody, right? And you noticed that a tree fell down and nobody has addressed it or something like that, right? So that is data point, right? You go back home, and then you go and meet somebody else in another place, right? And you notice that what caused that tree falling down? No, was that I don't know, something on the ground happened, right? So you connect two data points, right? And you now come back to your house as somebody that is in the Eco, and then you upload that data into a database or something, right? So that the community at large gets what is happening around the area, right? And so that people can now can now live in a better community through having a better environment, which in case will now be maybe taking the tree out of that place to allow people to have access or whatnot, right? Is that it?
Um, that's that is the surface of the ocean, but brilliance. I love that. The best way to describe the way that the Echo works. Again, as you just mentioned now, it was a
Mhm,
mindset to how to even build organizations, any type of organization, considering this data is mostly about the data. And I'm loving the fact that you're mentioning that data.
mhm,
Data technology is very interesting. And so it's all about how do I collect the data from here to this point, and me living here, what is my impact of being able to see that data problem,
mhm,
connect that data problem to another place that has the solution for that data problem, and then make sure that that data does not cause imbalance to how the system is working or the way that I'm functioning, especially when it comes to my economic and social value. So yes, I would say that the way you've described it will be a good surface to let everybody not go crazy about what it is to be the Echo.
okay. So I'll just make reference points, right? Because it looks to me like um like when you are connected on a Google device, right? So like I mean Google Maps and whatnot, right? It asks you to review, right? How was this place that you went to, right? Was it good? Was it
Mhm.
like accessible chairs, whatnot? Right. So everywhere, kind of like Google follows you everywhere you go, and it uses you to get feedback on certain areas so that others will know about certain areas, right? So is that what the Echo is? But then for community, so not just for, but like for more focused communities, right? So for within communities itself. So maybe people within a local government area in Anambra State, right? Have this the Echo, which in analogy to Google, right? They have this with them, and like everywhere they go, they get that, right? For example, you go to the shop today, Miss Ineka shop, right? Does Miss Ineka has a stool in front, right? As basic as that is, right? Then you say, oh, yes, she does, right? Or you go to maybe the river to go and get water or something. Right? Hopefully, Nigeria has passed that period where I go to the river to go and get water. But you go to the river to go and get water, but I maybe the information is that like how was the road there, right? Is it hostile for women, for example, right? Can women go there without being catcalled and whatever, right? So is that it? Is that the lifestyle or the culture or what you're trying to build here?
Yes, you're absolutely right, and even just comparing it to Google is a very interesting part of even understanding the technology, just from the technology point of view, and they will link that technology to lifestyle because most technology we have right now is creating our lifestyle. So again, Google follows you everywhere. You can search it immediately and find answers to whatever you're looking for. But one thing that I looked when I looked at Google was that Google has maps, it has this, and they're so secluded. And You have to learn about how to use the Google map to get navigation. You have to then learn about how to use Google Drive to connect to other people and do business. All of these things were just all scattered. What Echo is as a lifestyle is that you then are able to express the data in comparison to another person seeing that data. So on Google now, everything is just you see it as it is. This is it. On
Mm.
Echo, let's say I see an environmental problem. For instance, a road is bad or this road is going through a problem, and I report it on the Echo platform as a problem. What that does is that other people can see that and vote for it. And so people are aware that that voting system credifies the fact that that problem exists in there. What that does is that based on the fact that you are in the Echo, it's only your location that you're reporting. And because you are in that location, can also vote. You can't be voting for the Echo of America when you're not in the Echo of America. Because then again, I'm on Google, but Google is not telling me what is tailored to my location. It's just telling me the generic information, which again limits cultural intelligence and cultural information that will help us know what is really on ground. So Echo, when I say it's a lifestyle and the technology enhances you to be able to share the information of your environment in relation to your community, to be able to get organizations around there, to be able to design a better system for you. And this is very interesting because I also mentioned that it forms a new economy. The economy we have right now allows organizations to remain as an entity. And as an entity, they remain as human beings in the place where they are. And
Mhm.
as human beings, I get the choice to decide not to do something or not to do something. And so if I get the choice to do something or not do something, and the organization also gets the choice to do something or not do something, then there's no synergy of how we work together.
Mm.
There's just you make your choice on whatever you want to do here. I make my choice on whatever we want to do here. But to bring the organizations and the individuals together, even the governments and the individuals together, there needs to be a system that actually contextualize the way that we're reporting using this technology, using let's say the social media or the financial technology that we're using to interact with each other, to synergize them together to be able to give information effectively that allows you to, first of all, value yourself in that place where you are and make the right choices in that place where you are, to also making sure that there's a evaluation of how that thing you're doing is creating impact in that particular location. So the Echo is just that context. Is the context for being able to showcase the changes that are happening from bad to good, but also make sure that people in that place are working together with the organization that exists in that place to make sure that they are the ones giving the value for that. So let's call it a making the global world local, but also global.
Okay. I'm sure you know about DAOs, right? Decentralized autonomous organizations.
That's right. Yes.
Um, so So DAOs came to my head and liquid democracy came to my head, right? In the sense of voting for problems, right? Like the most voted, I can see how this can become political, but like you vote for problems and then, that problems, I guess, has priority to becoming fixed or whatever, finding a solution over other problems, right? But
Mm.
that's for liquid democracy. But let's come to decentralized autonomous organization. Okay, aside the blockchain maybe aspect, right, of DAOs, right? Do you say you are integrating DAO into your system, right, as into the eco lifestyle, or do you say the eco lifestyle itself is a wider expression of what DAO is?
I would say it's a wider expression because then there's a merge of blockchain and AI. I want to be able to wake up in the next future. Dude, this is just an error. I want to wake up in the next future and I wake up and I ask my phone. Um, One thing that gets me angry is that I have an iPhone,
Mm-hmm.
iPhone 13. I bought it almost half a million naira.
Mm-hmm.
My minimum wage in Nigeria is 30,000 naira. 30,000 naira in a year is 300 and what? 60,000 naira. But yeah,
Yeah.
360,000 naira will not buy me this phone in a year.
Mm-hmm.
I have to work 2 years in Nigeria to buy an iPhone, which iPhone has one of the largest capacity to do things for me to that it relates to business or any other thing in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to wake up in the future and ask my iPhone, what can I do in the city today to give me money or create impact? Value or impact? And my iPhone says to me, oh, if you work for this company today, you will get food for morning, afternoon, and evening because it's impact I'm doing. Or if you work for this company today, you will get this amount of money based on your country. That data can only come if we have a system that has a synergy of what exists as the problem there and making sure that the organizations that are there are solving that problem. In the middle of that, I will be able to interact with the problem and the organizations by working for both of them to solve that problem, but I'm also contributing with data, being there to making sure that they are both seeing it. The problem is seeing it. The problem knows that I'm a problem.
Mm-hmm.
He knows the problem knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's
Now
not
me
that I'm
get to
waiting.
convert head. Now me.
Now me be the problem. Yes, they don't
Uh-huh.
report me. They don't vote me. Say I be the problem number one for
Uh-huh.
Ujuelegba. Say people, yes, they know
Yes.
I'm the problem there. But then the organizations are aware as well that this problem is there. And so we need to train these people differently to solve this problem. We need to create another new type of infrastructure to solve this problem, or we need to gain innovation from another place that's greater or better than us to solve this problem as well. Then you're having a very synchronized link, a synchronized technology that's helping you to value yourself. So it's actually blockchain and AI. So I want to be able to go into the Echo in the future. And the Echo is telling me as soon as I enter the Echo of Lagos, I already know what Lagos is going, how the environment of Lagos is going. I know how the community of Lagos is going. I know how the organization of Lagos is going to make sure that I know that, okay, as soon as I enter Lagos, I plug myself in Lagos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I live in Lekki, the biggest problem in Lekki now is community problem. So that means I can participate in community when I live in Lekki. If I move from Lekki to Ikorodu, maybe Ikorodu's problem is that they have more organization problem. They need more organization there. So I know that I need to go and start a startup in Ikorodu. I don't come and start a startup in Lekki because Lekki has plenty startups already. What they have now is community issue and environmental issue of flooding and people not being able to have the right jobs. So I know that this is what I need to do here more than actually going to go and do a startup in Lekki. I should go and do a startup in Ikorodu because Ikorodu needs more startup. And this also most especially inform the government moving forward now to a higher level. After blockchain and AI, there's a cloud service. Cloud services are supposed to be something that is protected by the government. This is the new thinking that they should have away from central bank. They should have a cloud banking. And cloud banking means now that they take the cloud of the data of their locations and give it to the local government and say, you, local government chairman of this is the cloud of your area. These are the people reporting there. These are the people that live there. These are the things, the organizations that are there. This is the echo of your place. And so these local government will take the echo of its own local government and is now interacting with it because even though people have apps, there's the organization with the portal that will give it to them. They're synergized with the blockchain and AI, right? You then have a cloud that the government is taking of the AI and blockchain and being able to then interact with it effectively and even put the right person in leadership for that place based on who is doing the most. Again, because I'm already rating the amount of impact in that place, me as a person, based on the activity I'm doing, the technology will also showcase that Mr. Musa is doing more in Kaduna than he's doing in Lagos. So he should be the person to be ruling Kaduna based on the activity he's done for the environment, community, and organization than him doing it in Lagos.
Mm-hmm.
This will influence even political leadership. It will influence what we call democracy, influence the way that we have people being our leader. Because then I'll be able to see that Mr. Musa did 500 tasks in Lagos. And since he did 500 tasks in Lagos, out of the 500 tasks, 300 of it was focused on organization. 100 of it was focused on community. The other 100 was focused on environment. So Mr. Musa is more of an organization guy. Let's get him into organizations in Lagos than putting him into the environment or community of Lagos. This will inform government. It will inform even me myself about ways to govern myself whenever I fall into a location.
Okay. A lot.
Blockchain, AI, cloud.
Yeah, a lot of it's just the data at the end of the day. Like it's because it should be so first of all, you have to get to a point whereby the eco citizens, right, understand how to use And I started to use the devices first, right? Basics, right. I think with the with the new generation in Nigeria, it's not a problem per se, right? But they still have to understand it to have an effective system so as not to create imbalances, right? The equality or the equity of ability to use or upload information will also help in that sense. But it sounds really like I don't know if you know Black Mirror, the dystopian Netflix series, right?
I've watched it.
It sounds like the optimistic Black Mirror, if there's a thing like that. Right. It sounds like the optimistic side of it. And it's very interesting. So I just want to ask you now, what are the components of what makes up Echo like today, like as we are speaking now, like what makes the company or the organization?
Yeah, not to go too deep, not too much in this. Echo does a few things at the moment, and we're also planning to do some few things in the future. And I'll just speak about some of the things we've done in the past. In the past, we've done things like trying to sensitize people in the Western world, students in the Western world, to start to think about connecting their degree to the echo of their location. So if you're an African student, and Echo is so focused on Africa at the moment because we believe, like I said in the beginning, innovation starts in Africa. If you look at the world right now, we're speaking about the youngest people in Africa. Africa is bringing the large unicorns. The world has done this before. They've done it before in the past. They used us for slavery when they did this. When they mentioned it, that Africa is having this now. So they now sent their people to come. And this time, they can't send their people to just come like what's that guy's name that they said discovered our Niger River. They can't send
Yeah.
Go Park. They can't send him now to just come and do studies. They put it on the internet. They told the economists to write that it's the African time so that all the rest of the Western world do not start to organize and align themselves to the next product that they will sell to us and make money of us and still rule us. We're not going to let it happen. It's not going to happen. So we were trying to sanitize the African students abroad to start to see whatever degree you're using, connect it to the environment, community, and organization of your country. If you are from Nigeria, connect it to the environment, community, and organization of Nigeria. If you do civil engineering, connect it to the environment of Nigeria. What is happening in the environment of Nigeria and building? How are community getting building and organizations building? Connect it to that. If you are doing biology, connect it to the echo of your country. And it was already brilliant. We're seeing people coming up with solutions. There were solutions for raising money for gorillas in Rwanda because some student was studying environmental science. There was other people that did community project where she was studying business and she did a bit of sales, entrepreneurship, sold things and used the money that she raised to build the wall of a children charity in Malawi. And also, she then connected with because of learning about collaboration in school, she connected with the government of Salford City, and we found out that they had containers of books that they just had containers of books
Mm-hmm.
doing nothing because so she got containers of books down to Malawi, just so you see that there are resources that are even wasting and you cannot even transfer it. And so she
Mm-hmm.
was able to get. They even paid for the container to be shipped. All of that stuff. It was interesting to even see such a project. And then even organization wide, we brought the community of Black businesses in Manchester in the North area together in a summit and had them speak about how are they inspiring themselves, how they empowering themselves, and how they developing themselves to reach Africa. So this was a whole project we did in a whole year for Eco Africa while we were away. But right now, Eco Africa has gone into a component of we run initiatives. We have a platform, as I mentioned. The platform is an app and a portal, which is being built at the moment. We launched the first platform before, which was collecting problems
Mm-hmm.
and people were sharing their problems using the context of the echo. So we saw that people would use this context to share their problem in their location. We even got problems from Australia. We're like, interesting. The person just put their environmental problem drought. And we're like, this is interesting. See, they're sharing something about what is going on there. But because it's contextualized as problem, the database knows this is problem. This is not just a shared post like Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or any of those things. So there's a platform with the app and the portal being built, and we're at this moment trying to raise investment to expand that some more. So we run an initiative as well in Nigeria at the moment called Tech for Good Africa. And the Tech for Good Africa, under it, we do Twitter Spaces every week, And because we've come up with the context of Echo as MD cube, just like Einstein E equals MC squared, we believe that Echo is equals MD cube, which is media, data, design, and digital. So the
Media, data,
data,
design,
design, digital.
digital, media.
Whenever you calculate, yes,
Okay,
MD
MD
cube.
cube. Okay,
That's
cube.
right.
Okay, okay. I thought I
Yes,
had cube. Okay, all right.
MD cube. So
Okay.
that is our formula. So we do this every month. So first week of the month, we have media week, data week, design week, digital week. We did our first one last week where we spoke about the startup bill, which was the digital space. We spoke
Mm-hmm.
about the startup bill. This week we'll be talking on data. We're talking the social media helping you to find the right data for yourself. And so what we do with this is just sensitizing people, and then after 3 months we do a seminar or workshop. And so that's our initiative for Africa, just to start getting all the tech people together in the community. Our community is growing now. Tech for Good already has about 55 people already, even though we started last week. We have a community of developers, about 190 of them. We have content developers, designers, graphic designers, all of that stuff, about 220 of them. So the community is growing for the Tech for Good initiative. So we're very happy with that. Apart from that, another aspect of Echo is to build technology for people. So we build only social technology, sustainable technology, and ethical technology. When I say ethical technology now, things like energy technology, things that help the environment be better, those sort of things. We build those technology for companies. So we help them with their structures, help them to design what that looks like, and design apps and projects for them as well. That's just to give us money. Moving forward into the future, we want
Mm-hmm.
to design what is called the audits for data. So we want to be the
Audit
company
for data.
that audits data. Yes, we want to audit data
Wow.
for companies, audit data for governments, and say this data you are collecting is wrong. Audit data for business, say this data you have is not true. It's not happening like that. You can look on the Echo platform, see the voting, this happened there. But at the same time, we also send people on ground, and this is what is really there. Because one of the biggest problem with Africa is that we don't have real data of what's happening in Africa. So collecting data, digitalizing it in a way that is designed effectively to be shown on media is one of our audit and focus in the future. Also in the future, we're also looking to how do we then design and innovate a new model for investment. And this part that I'm talking about is how do you design investment that is focused on indigenous people and people that are not indigenous. So if I'm a local investor, there should be a thing that I get as a local investor in comparison to an international investor in Africa. So our focus right now as the Echo is Africa, and we want to spread across Africa and become one of the largest digital companies in Africa. But not only that, become the governing tech for Africa. We govern technologies that are being in Africa. But lastly, as well, be able to change mindsets of people for how they can become more technological by using these context and metrics for how they do it. So that those are just the components of Echo. Again, just building initiative, but also a platform and a portal to help us with this and moving forward in the future, become an audit and investment company.
Wow, okay. You stated that you had about, I think I had 200 plus creatives, 190 developers, or something like that. Um, what, like, okay, for people within the ecosystem now, um, what kind of, would I say, like, what kind of, how do you keep them together? I think that's the question, because having one developer na problem. You know, 196, right, in a community, together, right, aside the, I think, 200 plus creatives together. Like, how do you manage to ensure that, like, they stay at the end of the day, right? And what kind of, let's say, activities or projects or like tasks do they do within this ecosystem, within the ecosystem, right? That reinforce maybe like the data or reinforces something about the component of echo, right? That makes it move forward.
Okay, so our initiative does three things. We train, engage, make money. Simple and short. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and what we mean by this is that we do it from the youth to the old. From the youth to the old. So youth to the old, we train. So from a youth person, if you want to be in tech, Again, you follow our model: media, data, design, digital, whichever one you want to place yourself in. If you want to do all of them and be like me, well done. My own journey is a lifelong journey to be able to become the MD cube eventually and know
Mm-hmm.
all of this. And if you want to be like me, welcome to the journey. We'll get there together. But if you
Mm-hmm.
want to just choose one and say, I want to do data, we'll train you from there. If you're even an old person, we'll train you on how to connect yourself as an old person to the young people on those missions. But also then we engage old people to the young people about how this works for them, how it works in their city, how it balances out, but then make money. So again, when you're inside the content development group, if you're inside that group, you can find out about our training they were doing. Inside the group themselves, they make their own training. They train themselves. So one person that's better than the other mentors the other person. So you can have a project and you post in the group, I need help with this. Somebody will help you with it. That's on the WhatsApp group that we just have now. Again, we want to move them to the technology, the Echo app and
Mm-hmm.
portal. But right now, we're using the WhatsApp as a means to just manage it.
Okay.
Engage them through conversations. Launch. You can just post something in the group today and say, "What does everybody think about this?" Find out the engagement. Just engage and grow what that is. But then through that as well, we're able to get contracts, project, and then we put that project on the platform for them to make money. So let's say there's a small project. Even me now building the Echo, I'm able to get my developers from my community saying, "Come and work for me in this community, do this," and they're able to make money. Even though I can't pay them as much as big tech companies pay them, but because they know they're inside this space and they can engage with more people and they even get to train themselves and it's easy going, they're able to say, sir, I'll collect your 100,000, 200,000 and go into those big companies where I don't have my freedom. Again, the ability to have that freedom to learn, do, and create is something I learned in the Western world. And I thought bringing that into communities here would be very good to just have that freedom to learn,
Mm-hmm.
do, and make leaders like myself too that gives that freedom. It's just how we run the community for now. Another initiative we just started is that we started speaking to businesses in the aspect of communication. So we discovered that many marketing and communication and PR companies in Nigeria do not present companies the way that they should present them from the journey. Like, for instance, you have a old person's company now, the company has run for 20 something years. They've never used technology before. They don't even know what a website is. You
Mm-hmm.
just tell them now that I'm a PR company, I'll make a website for you, I'll do this. But they don't carry all their customers, all the people that are with them along the journey of the business. So you
Mm-hmm.
then take them from here, you jump them here, and they don't have any no information. So what we do, we're testing case studies now. We're taking businesses, and we're very particular about the businesses we take. Again, environmental business like energy companies, social
Mm-hmm.
business like civic movements or NGOs or charities or organizations that are focused on sustainability. And what we did now, we took an energy company. We told the energy guy, "Where is your company located?" He told us. So what kind of customers do you want to have? He told us. So we told him what we do is that we get one person, a data person, somebody interested in data, to go around a proximity of where your business is, collect every information of businesses that require your service. And then after collecting all the information, the person has to go back to those businesses and have conversation with each one of them and collect a report. And we present you that report and you pay us monthly for us to communicate with those people about what you have in your technology level and what you can offer them, your services. And then we can then be able to create a tailored communication for you. What this does that it engages the data guy to be able to collect and analyze data effectively, but at the same time helps the technology, like the digital people, to be able to create the right digital setting. If it's just mailing for now that you need to mail those people, that's good. Or do we need to create a website and send to them so that they're able to link themselves into the website and have that? Or it just helps the digital person be able to create the right product for that business. And we're testing it out and be able to see, okay, if you want to digitalize a business, there's a process it needs to take. And designing this process with the community helps them feel more inspired and excited about there's a new model here, there's a process of how these things are being done here that I want to be part of. And all of them get to engage their skills at every time. We have writers that are writing on what Tech for Good is doing every week,
Mm-hmm.
randomly came up by themselves to take that role. We have designers that just want to design our flyers, they just want to always participate because why? They're getting themselves engaged, they are getting learning while they're doing it, but at the same time, they're able to create value for themselves being inside the community. And they also have this hope for the platform that is coming that would also showcase them and showcase how they're making impact in their city.
Wow. Okay. What's your recruitment strategy, sir?
I'm talking to you now. It's the power of the words. I've met. Somebody was asking me the other day, how many people have you met in your life? And I said, if I probably met more than 1 million people.
Wow. Wait,
Probably,
so
yes.
wait, all the people that came on board, you spoke to them?
Physically, yes. One time I spoke to one guy, the guy went to his people, told about 20 people. Those 20 people called me to talk to me, and then all of them joined immediately. One guy went to 20 people, 20 people. I'm not kidding. They want to hear who is the Eco Evangelist, want to hear from him. They hear from me, they're inspired. They're like, sir, ah, I want to, how can I be part of this? Brother, if it's the glory of God or is there a light that cannot be hidden in darkness, that's what I am. I told you, um, I want to
Wow.
believe I was made for this time to transform, not follow the rules and regulation.
All right, all right. Love to hear it. I should have asked this at the beginning, but what is innovation to you? You said innovation starts with Africa, right?
Africa. Yes.
Like, what is it? Let's go metaphysical, right? So let's not try and be Harvard business wise, but like let's be very metaphysical and break it down maybe as we can. What is innovation?
Um, Innovation is the ability to move something from what it is to becoming something else and moving it to become something else that is better. That's what I see as innovation. It's the most simplest terms ever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Take water from the river, put it in a bottle, brand it, sell it, innovation.
Mm-hmm.
The water is already there. The bottle is already there on its own. The branding that it puts, it was already there on its own. Bringing them together, making it become a new thing, innovation. So I would say innovation is the ability to take something from what it was, either it was bad or it was not good enough, or it was just basic to becoming better or balanced or in a process of being changed into something more effective. That's how I will explain innovation to anybody. Like that's it. Um, yeah, I wouldn't even go more than that.
Okay, interesting. So, what is it that makes people see water and think of, oh, you know what? A bottle. This thing inside a bottle and wrapped around would be a good idea. Like, what does somebody, right, from your experience, needs to have or get or do to get to that point whereby they see water and realize bottle, right? Or they see, I don't know, sand and realize whatever, sandcastle or or more than see a house or something like that. Like, what does somebody need to, like, what kind of, I don't know if it's mindset or
They just
how.
need to learn. It's a simple, straightforward answer. They just need to learn. And that's why we're talking about data here. People don't understand the power of data yet. Until you have the data of what is happening, you cannot bring up an innovation. If I don't know that there's a bottle that exists, if I didn't know about bottle, I only know about water from the stream. I
Mhm,
cannot put water inside the bottle.
mhm,
And if I did not know that if I put a name to it, it will then become an entity to be valued as a business, which is why business people come into it now. I will not do it at all.
mhm,
Learning is the only way we push innovation. Learning about things, and again, transparency of information is the only way we can push innovation. It's a natural given. The moment I know, the moment I want to do. The moment I know, the moment I want to create. The moment I know, the moment I want to build something extraordinary. And if I don't know, if you didn't know about blockchain today and decentralized, um, you know, organizations or entity, you wouldn't even mention it to me. It wouldn't even connect the dots in your mind about wanting to have this conversation with me today about Echo. You wouldn't do that because why? You wouldn't even know how to have the conversation with me because why? This innovation that we've just done here now that we're about to share with others, it wouldn't come because why? There was no learning. So learning is just the basic of innovation. Um,
mhm. Well, when you say learning, right? Because I mean, 20th century Germans, like very hard to beat those group of people, honestly speaking. It's very smart guys, top guys, right? When it comes to intellect. But they created chaos in the world and they created, created a disastrous world at the end of the day, right? So when you mean learning, like what exactly do you mean, right? Because 20th century Germans were amongst the best, probably like relatively of a group in the whole of the entire history of the world, right? But they created that chaos. So what kind of learning? Is it like book smart? Is it intelligent? Like what kind of intelligence are you talking about here when you say you have to learn?
So learning is only three levels of learning we have. Intelligence. There's only three levels of intelligence. Again, it sounds like the echo, isn't it? There's the intellectual learning, there's the cultural, and there's emotion.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the Germans, they were able to master all three.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, they understood who they were with the resources that they have.
Mm-hmm.
They understood who they were based on working with each other on, okay, this is what we have and this is what other people have. Like first of all, even the attack on the Jewish people, it was a notion that we know the Jewish people have more than us. They live in our town with more than us.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we conquer that situation? So it was a cultural intelligence. They understood culturally how to place themselves in the world. And then emotionally, they knew how to control their emotions. And they still do that now with the way they control their emotions in conversations, in behavior. So they were able to capture the intelligence of it all and define it. And that's why we need very good in the past, we need leadership that were able to push things this way. Now we don't need leadership, we need technology that becomes the governing of this thing to help people govern themselves effectively in the system that is now more globalized or help them to be local in their group in that global system. So learning, if I wanted to say the learning that we need to have is hybrid learning, not a fixed, they say in learning, you have to have a fixed or growth mindset. So see that you say, I want to learn this and be specialized in this, boom. Or I want to keep learning this and continue to grow as the system grows in that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, I want to be a PhD holder and know only um, genetics.
Mm-hmm.
Done. Don't want to know anything that has to do with, I don't want to even know the technology that made it. I just want to know genetics, finish.
Mm-hmm.
But you can have the growth one where I want to learn genetics and I want to, anytime genetics changes, I want to be following the trend of genetics. That one means you have a career. You don't just have a fixed, you have a career in it. You don't become a professor, you become a career person in genetics. But the third part of it now is that we become hybrid. You get the fixed, then you still get the growth, but then at the same time, you are also innovating, you're also creating. You see, innovation, you're also creating something out of the fact that you know what is fixed, you know how it's growing in the system. Because you have the technology to check it every time, you are now innovating. Every African should be an innovator. Because why? We have the resources. It's the intelligence we're not putting together. We have the resources, we have the people. What we need is to be able to harness all the informations, all the structures, let's put it that way, of how these people have learned about our resources, how they've learned about how we work, and then put that together to now form a system. That's what we're missing. Exactly what we're missing. And I guess that
So would
that
you say like for I had like the hybrid, I had the technology, right? So I'm just thinking like what came to my head in kind of like as a synthesis of what you just stated was tech is the checks and balance for the human condition. And by human condition I mean the point whereby you can get to a German Nazi state of killing as many people as possible, right? So what you're categorically saying is that we need technology to limit us as human beings because we won't limit ourselves by ourselves. Is that
you can use that word, but let me just say
it? Yeah.
more like nudge us and cobbles, because you need that. You need to be nudged sometimes, and you need to be like sit back. You need someone to tell you, hey, sit back. But you also need someone to say, please keep going forward. But again, that's innovation. Innovation needs to know when it needs to stop. Innovation needs to know when it needs to continue and be innovating more and more and more. The ability to know that is very important. That's why they have the innovators that are able to say you can't innovate anymore more than this. You can't scale. They tell startups, can you scale? Innovation is the scaling. And
Mm-hmm.
so technology helps us do that. But we as a person, we as people, we cannot stop. We cannot stop innovating. it's just life, because we have cultural intelligence, we have the intellect, and then we also have the emotional intelligence. The moment you find out that you cannot eat anymore, you will come up with a new way of finding food. Either you go and beat somebody up using your emotional intelligence, like let me shut my emotion now. I'll shut my emotion down. I'll just go and slap that guy, collect his 50 naira, go into crime, right?
Mm,
So you have the intelligence to always innovate, to bring change to yourself. You have it.
right,
It's
right.
given. Everybody's given the fact to innovate something new. To sure, the word innovate means that it's from the inner. You know,
It is all like aspire to perspire now.
you know that's that they innovate. You
From
see
the
the word that started
inside,
with from the
it
in. You
innovate
innovate.
comes from in. So you innovate.
Yes, got it. You got
Um,
it.
okay, interesting. So this brings me to like, and I think for maybe people listening, right? To the question of the kind of technology, then it brings to question, the ethics of tech, and especially as regards AI, and then like not even AI. There's another term for like the future of AI, whereby AI machine learning, right? Machine learning and deep learning.
Mm.
So when you now start to look at these things, right, I mean machine learning and deep learning, just the state whereby the machine learns by itself, right? You don't need to put data points or information for it to learn. Like it's just learns by itself, just like a human being will. Right. Obviously, like we have not gotten to that point yet as a world. But then question of ethics. First of all, right, human beings, okay, depending, right? The culture that creates the technology influences what the tech becomes, right? Because the human being is creating the technology. It's the same way. Like I was reading a book one time. I think it was something about design, right? And okay, now that you have been to the States, it'll be easy to explain. Like on the highways, right? The signboards, the letters there, right? Maybe like Missouri 50 kilometers or something like that, right? In the book, right, the guy went to the point of saying that you can know the country you're in by looking at the font of those kind of places, right? Because like the culture influences even the fonts they are using, or like the cars, like the kind of cars that is used. For example, I think the example he used in that book was also like Italian cars. They just had this special, there was just this look that it had, right? That Italians wanted it. Some particular cars. So, anyways, just to state, that tech is largely driven by like the human culture influences the tech, right?
Mhm.
And then it brings the question of, okay, all things being equal, how do you control the person that creates the tech, right, that you will use, in such a way that when you get to that hybrid state, the checks and balances required, right, and the nudging for the tech required, right, is actually in its rightful place, right? So that people or the tech is not, because the tech does not now become like the person that created it, right? Evil or bad or whatnot, right? Or at the end of the day, destroy human society for that reason. So yeah, when you're talking about a hybrid society like that, in the echo, right? How do you resolve or confront the question of the ethics of technology and who makes the technology?
Uh, Very, very good question. And I think that this question of ethics in technology is a very important question at this time, because you're now aligning us to politics. And and politics have not caught up on the power of technology. They know, they just don't know the power of it, because why? The people will still be the user, and the culture of the way they use it will determine the way that technology can be curbed. Um, People ask me, why do I call myself a digital economist? I say I'm a digital economist because I connect the dots and bring together technology, leadership, and economics. So you have technology, you have leadership, you have economics. Economics is sort of the culture of how people buy and sell things, or how they just literally live their home. Economics in the word, it comes from the word home, from the Greek word echo is home, nomi is management of home. So the management of a home, a place, is done
This
by
guy go home ec class.
home
Home
economics.
economics class. Oh my god. Just one, just two, just three. Anyways.
Imagine, home economics is actually the economics is already home management. They now put home,
But I
so
put home economics.
home economy, home management.
Do you know what that means? Then you're just saying you guys are idiots. Let's make it simpler.
Idiot. Let me just teach you. Let me make you people more idiot. Oh God.
Oh, let's go back. Let's go back. Sorry.
Oh God. As I said, government influences culture. So they
Okay.
influence that economics. That's why they run the economics of a country. Then you then have leadership. Leadership is people taking initiative to do something in a particular location. So I want to change the way water is being um, cultivated in my location. So I make a tap. I'm the first one to make a tap. In the Igbo culture, they'll give me Igwe immediately. They'll make me a chief because I was the first one to bring tap in that place. You know, so I'm a leader. I do, right? But then technology is something that must be learned. You have to learn it. Now, if we wanted to create ethics of this, the ethics of bringing this together, the ethic of this sort of thing, to make sure that it's not this, it is something that we at Echo are very particular about the way that we connect the data, we audit the data to be able to make sure that the data feeds these three people. When I say these three people now, I mean economics, which is controlled by the government. We create that. We create it through data. So we say, this is data. This is how you should create this. That's why they bring economics inside and say, what do you think we should do now that we have these debts? So they create a new structure. So again, we helping with, like I said, moving towards creating model for investments that are local and international. We give that to the government so that they can understand how we should create better economy for Africa, right? Then we move on to the leaders. Leaders, how are you doing technology? So the technology you're building now, how is it linking to what the economics of this government, this data we're giving them is doing? The environmental data, community data organization, your technology you created now, is it going to help the environment, community, and organization? Or is it only just going to help communities and not help the environment and organization? Can we balance it out for you? What do we do with that? And then you move on to the technology. Okay, how do we now get people to learn this thing that you have created for us to help our economy? So you see now, it moves across. And this is the ethics that must come. We don't have it yet, but it's an ethic that must come. It must be a policy that data should become a policy. It should become a policy. And why I'm saying this is that nobody has mentioned this before, but I'll just shake the table a little bit. I personally think that ideas should become a type of policy or regulation in government.
What do you mean by
that? So policies and are written documents, right? Policies are written documents saying this is how this should be done in this place based on what we have discovered from this place. But at the same time, ideas are also documents of this is what we think should be done in this place based on this. It should also be taken into consideration in the era of technology where governments are taking ideas as a pre-policy to then policy becoming a concluded policy. Or should we say regulations become a concluded policy? You are regulating it now with regulations, rules and regulations. That's policy, sorry. Rules and regulations are policies. So the rules and regulation become the end, but the idea is pre-policy. So in the technology phase now, you have pre-policy, which is ideas, and then you have concluded rules and regulations as the post-policy. This then brings in a system.
Okay, go ahead, finish up. Then
it brings in a system. It brings in a system where leaders know how to contribute into the government, right? And then the users know why they should take on that technology because they follow the process from when the idea was put in to now that it's now being implemented. They have followed it through.
Okay. So, I think I'm confused with this.
No, but it's not there yet. It's not there yet, Mr. Musa. It's not there yet. We have not even got to the phantoming that this could be a thing. Imagine a blockchain of ideas. It becomes the bedrock and the basis of a nation.
But
Trust
the
me.
question will now become, like the whole issue, I guess fundamentally, right? Maybe public policies can people in that field can correct me, but like the whole problem at the end of the day, right, is the lack of information that backs policies, right? I mean, people make policies that are not consistent with the places or like the where they are trying to influence, right? So you see a gap at the end of the day. So you do a policy, for example, to end period poverty, but then your country really has nobody suffering from period poverty, right? That's a gap, for example, right? Or so issues like that. So I mean, now when you say policies should become, sorry, ideas should become pre-policies, right? Ideas have to be tested to be proven. So that's where like I'm kind of confused
So, but
because I
then
can
that's
say I want to build a house, right? But then building a house is a fantastic idea. But then like okay, have you surveyed the area? Like what is the condition, right, of the terrain, right? How deep do you need to go before you can build this solidly, right? What kind of materials should you use in these spaces, right? If it's windy, maybe stronger materials, all of that, right? So like if you just take ideas as it were to that to the policy stage or pre-policy stage, right? How do we get those information?
and I mentioned that. I said Echo wants to be the data auditor. We want to be able to audit the data because when there's that auditor of data, people then have trust and hope in a system. The system of technology now, technology, leadership, and economics does not work together to bring digital economy because the three legs are scattered, not organized. Why? Because they've not caught up to the world that we're moving into. Me and you can catch up on the world and we can see all the little gaps and how we can connect the dots, but we've not connected the dots. Connecting the dots would be that government is managing economics in a different way using some digital technology, right? And leaders are doing the things that they need to do, running their business, running their initiative, running their new inventions in a way that aligns to the economy of that place that has been run on a digital platform. But then people are able to use that technology to connect to the leaders that are doing these things to make sure that it's connecting back to the economics of a place, right? So I said that this technology must be created. Echo is trying to make sure that we put that data and also connect the dots of this technology. So if you have the Echo in your hands, like you have an Apple phone in your hand now, everybody has Apple, but you should have the Echo. Because if you have the Echo, then you know that I'm using this technology to learn about leaders that are doing businesses and have structures or inventions in my local place to be able to make sure that as I contribute using this technology, it's feeding back all the way to the economics which the government is leading. So I imagine I mentioned in the beginning that there's AI and blockchain organization, AI of me. I work with the AI. So what I'm telling the machine to learn is based on what I'm putting in there. That's why none of the social media have been able to do the AI thing because the information is too. The AI will be confused. Imagine Facebook. Remember when Facebook did the AI talking to each other and they had to shut it down? It was due to the fact that the information was the machine could not learn the information effectively. The machine did not know which one is the problem, which one is the solution. It didn't know. It's so confused because the way you have written it in the code would not allow the machine to learn what it's saying. You're saying, but when you have a context like Echo, the machine knows that okay, this problem is environmental, this problem is community, this problem is organization. I can see the challenges, and then I'm seeing the comments and solutions to it, and I'm also seeing the ideas to it. So I'm saying it's coming a future where government will have to receive ideas into their database for the challenges of all the leaders that are having in their community to connect to
Now I
how the
get.
individuals are using the technology for those leaders to match up to them.
Okay, now I understand. The idea
Exactly.
serve the purpose of getting to the solutions, fixing the solution.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely. It
right.
should be a part of policy. Again, I told you we have to write the policy document. We have to write one. That's we'll write it very soon. It's not the time of Peter Obi. It's not the time of Peter Obi and Tinubu and all of them will be writing that type of policy. Let the start, let the startup build do the introduction for us. We're copy behind them with some interesting policies. We're copy.
I actually spoke to maybe another time, right? So we can invite Musa Ali Baba. I will have a
That'll be an interesting conversation.
conversation.
Yeah.
because I spoke to Osaritin, I think just last week or 2 weeks ago, right? Osaritin is like the
Yes,
go
I've
back.
spoken
Yeah,
to him too. Yes,
yeah, you know him?
yes, I spoke to him as well. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I spoke to him, yeah, and he has something similar to what you're doing. Like he has a mindset similar to yours in the sense that he believes that villages should be the focus of nation building. Like he believes that the extent to which, like Sam has to go, like Sam does not have to leave his village is the measure of development. So if you have to leave your village, right, then development is not as developed as you think, right? Because people naturally want to stay, in their area of closeness, relationships, family, community, etc. Right. So that is so, and his argument was that people live more or less, right? Because village will not offer you anything, so you have to get greener pastures, etc.
You
So I
can't
think,
plug yourself.
yeah, yeah.
You can't plug yourself to your village. If you stay in your village, there's no plug to plug yourself. There's no plug. There's no plug.
It's funny how that is literal and both,
Yeah.
like,
And it's also funny that plug has 3 points.
ooh, this guy. But this is Nigeria, Sha. This is Nigeria. So contextually speaking, yeah, on bars, man. Oh, all right. Interesting. Oof. This is definitely not going to be the end of an echo conversation on eruption. So we're going to have many more. It's like each time we go forward, we now reiterate and come back and have a right podcast. But just for now, anyways, what is the vision? What is the future for the Echo from now, at least, nearest future?
Hmm. Um, I said three things. I'll first talk about the dream of the company, dream for Echo, and then I'll just talk about the future of myself and the Echo as we move forward. And I had to write this down when I saw your message to me. I had to write it down explicitly. Um,
Hey, you say that why 100 marks? Well, well.
I, I didn't even want to just put my words out there without letting people understand the extent of what this transformation was. And before I say this, I want to say something. Innovation and collaboration is the only way we can bring sustainability. Nigerians do not understand what sustainability is. They only understand what it is to eat now. It's a big problem. If we don't create innovation and collaboration system for them, they will not understand how they can be in to coexist. Again, innovation, collaboration is only for sustainability. So they won't know how to be in to coexist for us to all be sustainable for a long period of time. Um, so in collaboration and innovation, what comes with that is change and transformation. So we must all change and transform. Uh, a dream for the company for me is that um, one, we want to be a governing technology company. We want to be the leading governing technology. We can have others that are leading like Amazon, Google, all of them. They lead whatever they say they lead. Google says it leads data. I don't believe that. Amazon says it's done logistics. I don't believe that. They've not been able to conquer the logistics of Africa. And if you have not done that, you are not a developed company. You are still a growing company because you've not even been able to take over the market of Africa. You are still coming. We'll
Hey,
catch
somewhere the challenge. You.
no, we'll catch up with you eventually. Talk soon. But we want to be a governing technology company for Africa. What that means is that we want to be able to know that the technologies that come into Africa is right for the culture, the social, the economics, and the sustainability of each country, village, space in the whole continent of Africa. We want to be that company. Second of all, we want to be the largest digital technology platform in Africa, starting from Nigeria. So one of the biggest technology platform. There's no platform that we can say Jumia. We have that now happening. I wouldn't say it's the largest in Africa. We still have Google is still beating Jumia in the whole of Africa. If you look at Facebook, it's still beating Jumia in the whole of Africa in how it's quantified based on users and activities. So it's not still the biggest. We want to be the biggest in Africa, beating those people that are why. Secondly, um, the one of the biggest and greatest goal, a dream of Echo, is to transform and change the economy of Africa. Remember, I mentioned that the innovation and collaboration is for change and transformation, for sustainability. So we want to change and transform the economy of Africa from GDP to some other type of measure.
So
Um,
just because you say Africa, like in a way that characterizes a country. So do you view it as that? Do you view Africa as a country, or when you say you want to transform the economy of Africa, is you want to transform Nigeria first, or Ghana first, or Ethiopia first, right? Then by transforming Ghana, others learn, and therefore all of us become one. Or do you mean blatant, like we want to transform Africa as a country? Just to for clarity's sake.
just to clarify that Africa is definitely a continent, not a country. And so, because of that, there must be a baseline for every innovation that has to transfer across the country based on the legality of law and politics. So, yes, Nigeria is the basis, as I've mentioned that before. Leading technology companies starting from Nigeria to Africa. We want to be able to transform and change economy from Nigeria to the rest of the world. We could do it from Nigeria or we could do it from South Africa. Time will tell if Nigeria can take up the mantle or it's South Africa that will take up the mantle. Ghana and the rest of them are just learning. Rwanda, they are still learners. I'm being honest. They are still learners in any of the transformation things. They look like they're making a lot of noise, but they've not really transformed their economy. They are still in a lot of debt. If you remove Kagame now, what do you think the next person is going to do? So we only have a great leader there. But again, is the economy transformed enough to make sure that people start governing themselves without that guy? That's the unique thing that Africa must enter. So again, transforming and changing the economy of Africa. These are dreams of Echo. Um, where I see the future of Echo in Nigeria and in Africa, or, just the future as we see so far. Uh, right now, we're just looking at how can we grow and connect and expand the communities of tech and investments in Africa. Um, we want to be able to make sure that we have those that are going on, the tech space going on. We also have the investment space going on. But then mostly, personally, I just want to develop myself and become a master of the things that I've spoken about. Master of media, master um, 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 of data design, digital. Yes, I want to be the master of the MD cube. So again, just to be a master to also showcase the integral value of Echo, to make sure that when you hear of me, you see that I'm doing. If you look at what I do things in the environment. I go and pick plastic from beaches. I work in environmental initiative, community initiative. You see me in all of them, social media and NGOs, charities. I'm always doing all of it. When it comes to organization as well, I'm also making sure that organizations are digital. Always telling organizations how is their data connecting and trying to help them develop their business. So you find me in business development. You find me in things like that. And when it comes to expanding the digitalization of the company or just the economics of that company, you find me in those spaces. So just making sure that I'm able to keep those value of Echo, but mostly I say something very important to young people when I meet them. I say to them, we all have to die. They say, why are you saying that, sir? Like, it's not, I'm not telling you that you're going to die, you are going to off. Like, that's the death I'm telling you about. I'm saying that to die means that you must develop, inspire, and empower people. You must develop, inspire, empower. That is die. Develop, inspire, empower. If you don't do these three things before you leave this earth, you did not die. You just off. You didn't die. You know, when some people, when they
Develop,
die,
inspire,
empower.
or okay.
It spells die. When some people die, you know that these people developed a lot of things. We were inspired from their development. And now even their development has given us an empowerment to do something. I.e., Steve Jobs developed, inspired us through the way he was even continuously doing it every year. And then he has empowered us with a phone now that we can never ever we cannot do without.
Hmm.
You must, yeah. So that is, I want to be a make sure that I become the value of Echo to be able to do that for people. And then just grow, develop, and build technology for African businesses, African organization, African entrepreneurs, startups. Just help them build their technology, help them make sure that they get the right technology for the innovation that they want to bring in. And I want to say to everybody, welcome to the hybrid culture. It's new, we're here, and we're not going anywhere.
Oh, I love the audacity. I just love the confidence that goes with it as well. Before we go, like, do you have a Nigerian dream? Or like what you said is attached to it? Or is there like a particular
I wrote it. I
dream?
wrote it, and I'll read it down as I wrote it. I wrote it last night. I said, "What would be my Nigerian dream?" If somebody asked me, um, if they gave me a job in Nigeria, they asked me, "Sam, what is the number one job you want to do in Nigeria? If we told you to take one job in Nigeria and do it, I would tell them I want to be the central bank governor instantly. It just saying that that's me. That's a dream for me. It might not happen. It might happen, but that's it. I would love to be central bank governor and reform the whole currency system for the whole of Nigeria to Africa to the rest of the world. Um, but when I had thought of a Nigerian dream, I thought of a united, peaceful, and thriving Nigeria where people are able to learn, do, and create. Places are able to know, share, and develop together, and product and services are able to sustain one another and possibly, I believe, definitely everybody across the world. I can say that again if you want me to.
One more time, please. And the
In
central
Nigeria,
bank very well, but the second one.
so a Nigerian dream for me would be a united, peaceful, and thriving Nigeria where people are able and free to learn, do, and create. Places in Nigeria are able to know, share, and develop together. And the product and services that they develop are able to sustain them and possibly, I believe personally, everybody across the world.
Nice. A moment. If this was a novel self, I would have been thrilled. But then this is a real human being. Mad, nice. I mean, it's very interesting, right? Just the as I said, passion, confidence, audacity, the will as well behind what you want to do at the end of the day, right? And I would just say, like, on behalf of future generations, on behalf of all the communities, right? Thank you in advance, right? Because I mean, the good thing about innovation sometimes is that you can never really measure innovation because you don't know like how which generation actually gets the best benefit from it, right? So I
Mm.
mean, something like the industrial revolution, are we the best benefitors? I mean, today we are because we're getting the most rewards, right, through the internet and whatnot. But like, next generation might even get it more, right? So each generation kind of benefits the most from a very good innovation. And I'm just like, if this comes out, once this is crafted into a system that's implemented in society, right? I can just imagine how life will be easy for three generations down the road, right? Whereby, the very interesting politicians will have no place again because there's an echo that will basically give you data, right? I'll be like, this guy has not done anything at all. Like, like, why are you like? What is the point of this? Like, what's the guy? I beg, let's check his echo. Who get an echo? Let's check his echo. What did he do? All right. But anyways, yeah. And hopefully, with great the laws of physics, right? Opposite reactions. So I hope that your opposing reactions will not supersede this force that you're coming with at the end of the day, right? And an eruption, we're ready anytime, any day to ensure that in any way or form we can ensure the echo becomes a reality, right? It does become a reality for the benefit of Nigerians and future generations.
Thank you so much, Musa. I really enjoyed this conversation, and this is a conversation we must always continue to have. And thank Nairoption for being who they are, and the youth coming together and having these conversations, making their voice being heard about the sort of intelligence and knowledge they want to share and use for the development of their country. Very, very pleased to be here and be in this space with you guys. Um, we need all hands on deck. We need all funds on deck to be in this space. So please reach out to us, see how you can fund us, see how you can help us. Whichever way, we welcome any sort of skill. As long as your skill aligns to technology, we're totally welcoming you to be part of what we do. But I want to say one final thing before we go, and this will be my final statement. I think that the mindsets of Nigeria and Nigerian uh, in relation to time is very weird. It's very skewed. They don't understand seasons. They don't understand moments. They just think they should live their life. And what that causes is that we don't understand what sustainability is. I think I mentioned this before. So sustainability, and this is to everybody out there. Sustainability is not easy. Sustainability must be understood to Nigerians and Nigerian through education. And let's not play about it. We must um, educate our people about sustainability, how they can sustain themselves, how they can remain sustainable, because we own, and we have not even harnessed, we own some of the largest resources in the world. If we cannot sustain it, somebody else will help you manage and sustain it. You don't want somebody to be managing your resources and sustaining it for you when you can manage and sustain it yourself. Like, why? You're supposed to be the guy, and then you are giving your birthright to Esau. How far now? So just my final statement to Nigerians. But also, I would also encourage us that it is our time, it is our season, and what we're about to launch into the world has never been seen before. So get ready, Africans, get ready, because it's going to be a very beautiful ride. And I like that I'm also riding in a Bugatti and a Bentley already with Musa from Nairobi, because those are the kind of rides I want to take with them. Some people I would enter ship with them and be on the ocean in turbulent times. Um, who knows? It might be Pirate of Caribbean sort of movement. But people like yourself, just going on a nice Bentley ride on the road, on a journey, it's just beautiful. And I look forward to the journey of Echo and Nairobi even as we go along in this journey. So well done to you. Well done to everybody out there doing something great. And let's do it.
Ooh, excellent. Somewhere Eco Evangelist, what will I say? Motivator.
Motivate.
Motivator. Sounds like you're about what? Motivator. For you.
Maybe innovator and digital economist.
Abby. But yeah, thank you for the nice words. And as I said, I'm sure this is like the first conversation of many. And I have to bring probably Musa Ali Baba to have a conversation. So people are like, well, question like, who is this guy? Who is this Musa Ali Baba? My namesake, lol. But yeah, because I just believe that we will have a very interesting discussion as regards the topics we have spoken of. So let's watch out from. I'll probably like do him first alone too. Then when you guys are not ready, not
Now bring us together.
Would I do triangle?
The
Nice.
echo.
The echo. Hey, 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 this guy. He just a drop bars anyhow today. This wisdom, man. All right, so thank you so much for this conversation, and good luck to you guys. Good luck to everybody on your team, to the dream, to the vision, and we'll speak sometime in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.